All right, this video looks amusing. I don't know what I'm about to get into. I don't know why today I decided let's react to a referee, but apparently this is the most legendary referee in football. So let's get into it.
When you say referee, the first association for most people will be a bald-headed tall man with a strong look in his eyes from Italy. And his name is Pierluigi Collina. But how did he reach such a legendary status that no referee until or since him even touched? Well, it's a long story. Just like millions of other Italian kids, Collina caught a footballing fever since the moment he was born. He played constantly on the streets of Bologna, but unlike many of his peers, Collina didn't ignore his studies for the sake of football. Instead, he was one of the best in his class throughout primary and middle school. He realized, so instead of taking the path of a failed footballer, he decided to become a referee. At just 17 years of age.
Wow.
He took the referee
Early
course
on.
and started his career. He was successful too. Collina reached the highest levels locally even as a teenager. Not only that, but he also signed up for university where he graduated with a degree in economics when he was 24. When he turned 30, Pierluigi Collina was invited to referee the highest level of Italian matches, Serie A and Serie B. He quickly earned a nickname Kojak because he was bald due to losing all facial hair to a rare syndrome called alopecia.
Gotcha.
This, however, played into his hands because he had a distinctive look and his face was easily remembered. Collina became one of the top Italian referees during the 1990s, resulting in a call from FIFA as he became an official FIFA referee. His career launched towards the stars ever since. Collina refereed the biggest matches on the planet, including the most legendary Champions League final ever, when Manchester United scored 2 injury-time goals to overturn Bayern Munich's 1-0 lead and win the whole competition. Years later, Collina remembers the match as his favorite, as he himself said, "I will always remember it for different reasons. First of all, the reaction of the Manchester United supporters when they scored the second goal. It was an incredible noise, like a lion's roar. Then there was the reaction of the Bayern players."
It's so interesting to hear the perspective of a referee during these matches, because while you're watching the game, like, you're feeling everything the crowd's feeling, and you assume that everyone on the field is feeling that as well. But for the referee, they're so locked into what's going on in the game that it's interesting to hear their thoughts about the game, experiencing it from the referee's perspective. That's really interesting.
Their disappointment as they fell down on the pitch after conceding that goal. The contrasting reactions of happiness and sadness, and the sad eyes of Lothar Matthäus when he looked at the trophy, all very unforgettable. However, the peak of his career came 3 years later. FIFA assigned him to officiate the World Cup final between Germany and Brazil. The Brazilians won the match, but aside from Ronaldo's magic, Pierluigi Collina was one of the most memorable faces from that World Cup, and he gained a massive following in Asia after the tournament. In fact, he was so popular that the Japanese company Konami put him on the cover of Pro Evolution 3 and Pro Evolution 4. This was the period when Collina made history because he is the only referee ever to win IFFHS World's Best Referee Award 6 times in a row, from 1998 to 2003. Not only that, but Collina was also Serie A Referee of the Year a whopping 7 times.
Wow.
His integrity, however, was confirmed after he retired in 2005. Juventus was in the center of the infamous Calciopoli. Luciano Malgi, the person in charge of Juve's crimes at the time, was taped talking on the phone complaining that Collina was too objective and that he should be punished for his refereeing. This lifted the Italian referee to an even bigger status than before. He showed up in numerous adverts for world's biggest brands as he was practically one of the symbols of 90s and early 2000s football. He was rightfully introduced to the Italian Football Hall of Fame in 2011. So what made Collina so special? Well, except for the strong look in his eyes, Collina had authority over the players at all times. He was often seen even pushing off players if they crossed the line.
He looks like he's in charge, for sure.
"You have to be accepted on the field of play, not because you are the referee, but because people trust you." The Italian had military experience from his youth, which he used on the pitch to make things clear to each and every player no matter what his name was. However, Collina's secret, just like with many great people, is his preparation. According to Graham Pohl, who once worked with Collina as the 4th referee, the Italian was ready for everything. He drew their lineups on board, he told us how they would play, who the fiery characters were, where the likely flashpoints would be, what each assistant might expect to happen on his part of the pitch. He covered everything. It was incredible. It was preparation to the nth degree, and furthermore, he wasn't wrong. We could talk about Collina's biggest...
That is so fascinating, though. I've never thought about the role of refereeing, and I've never thought about how a referee might take that. I'm so used to complaining about referees. and being so upset with refs for missing certain calls. And so I'm very used to, like, it's a staple of American football. I coached the game. Every game, we're yelling at the refs for something, and so is the opponents on the other side. It's such a difficult job as a referee, and they take so much flack. It's so interesting for maybe the referees. For him, he's thinking, how can I make this football game the best game? How can I make sure that it's played above board and that that we facilitate a great product? It's so interesting to hear from a referee's perspective. That's such a fascinating thing.
Spence all day, but there is a standout moment in his career. He is the first referee ever that a player wanted to swap shirts with. Unironically, it was David Beckham, who swapped shirts with Kalina in the 2002 World Cup. The big Italian is also bizarrely famous in Turkey because no Turkish team ever, either international or club, lost when Kalina was officiating the match. A man who changed football refereeing forever and took things to a higher level. Pierluigi Collina was a revolutionary in his own right. He nowadays works as a member of UEFA Referees Committee, overseeing the new generation of referees with all of his knowledge, reputation, and experience.
Well, this was interesting. I don't even know why I clicked on this video. I was just wanting to see. The thumbnail looked intense, and so I thought, wow, he has a very intense look on his face, and they say he's the most legendary referee in football. I thought, I got to check that out. I got to find out why he is the most legendary referee in football. Anyway, down in the comments below underneath this video, would you guys tell me some of your favorite moments in football that has to do with refereeing? Or maybe some of the worst moments that have to do with football refereeing. Us Americans, we have some interesting thoughts on referees. I absolutely have had a hatred for refs in my life because of specific calls. Now, when calls go my way, I love the refs, but I have had some moments that have been very hard to stomach with referees, and I imagine that you've got some of those lurking in your mind as well. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, go ahead and slap like on it. It really helps me out if you guys like these videos. It helps push it out to more people so I can grow an even bigger audience. I really do love you guys. I appreciate your support. I hope you guys stick around for this journey and see where it goes. Anyway, I'll see you guys in the next video.